Hello class 5. We are doing our chapter 3 in history lesson, and today's lesson is subsidiary alliance. We have already started this chapter and we have seen that how the British set their foot in Bengal through the two battles, that is the Battle of Plassey in 1757 and the Battle of Buxar in 1764. By these two battles we see they set their foot in Bengal and Bengal completely came under their control as they defeated the Bengal Nawab in these two battles. After that we see they set foot in Mysore, that's in the southern part of India, and there also they captured the kingdom of Mysore by defeating Tipu Sultan and Hyder Ali as well. Hyder Ali actually died while fighting the battle and Tipu Sultan took over. Tipu Sultan also gave a brave fight to the British, but ultimately he was also defeated. So Mysore also came under the control of the British. Now we see that the main aim or main goal of the British was to expand their territorial limits in India. And in this context, not only they followed the policy of expansion, but they also devised other procedures, other methods to capture more and more territories of India within their rule. Now, subsidiary alliance was one such method through which the British captured the Indian provinces. Many Indian provinces came under the British control. So it was Lord Wellesley who introduced the policy of subsidiary alliance, and it was introduced in 1798. So in 1798, Lord Wellesley introduced the policy of subsidiary alliance, and now we'll see what are the main features or main principles of the subsidiary alliance. So what we see is that this subsidiary alliance was introduced by Lord Wellesley in 1798, and the main aim of Lord Wellesley for introduction of the subsidiary alliance was to bring more and more territories of India under the British rule without waging warfare. Obviously, when they are waging warfare and capturing any place, that is very expenditure is also there in part of the British. That is a costly process, warfare. So they tried to capture more and more territories of India without warfare. And one of the system was this, that is a subsidiary alliance. There we see the main features or the main principles of this system was that it was said by Wellesley that any state of India who need protection from foreign attack will have to accept the subsidiary alliance. So if any state accept the subsidiary alliance, then that state will be given protection by the British army or the British company's army would be giving protection to these states which will seek to accept the subsidiary alliance or which will seek the British help. So the states have to reach or have to approach the British company or the Governor General for accepting the subsidiary alliance. The Governor General themselves was decided not to go to the states, but the states were supposed to accept the subsidiary alliance by themselves. However, we will see later subsidiary alliance was actually forced on some of the Indian states. So among the main principles what we see is that protection will be given to the Indian state. That is, if any Indian native states are facing a threat of attack by a third power, then the company's army will give them protection. So in lieu of this protection, it was also demanded by the subsidiary alliance that in lieu of this protection, the native states which is accepting the subsidiary alliance, they will have to agree to maintain a force or the company's army in their own state. So it was also decided that the British army would be stationed in the native states which will accept the subsidiary alliance. So whichever state is accepting subsidiary alliance, in that state the British will post their army. Also it was said that for maintenance of the army, these native states had to pay an amount. For maintenance of the army, the native states were supposed to pay an amount. Now it is said that as they are giving army for the protection of the native state, so this army's maintenance cost will be borne by the state which is getting the protection or who is accepting the subsidiary alliance. So this system we see basically was a trap of the Governor General Lord Wellesley, and by this trap he is trying to acquire more and more Indian states within the British rule. Now what we see is that it was said that an amount has to be paid for maintenance of the army, and we see that if the state failed to pay the amount, then that state would be captured by the British government. It was also said that if any state failed to pay the amount, then that state would be captured. Now what we see is that it was said that if any state failed to pay the amount that was fixed, then that state will be captured. Here also there was a trick. We see that when he is fixing the amount that needs to be paid to the company for maintenance of the army, the amount was fixed so high that often the states failed to pay the amount, and when they failed to pay the amount for maintenance of the army, the state was captured by the British. Also we see that there was a standing army. Army was stationed in some states who are accepting the subsidiary alliance. So when the British army is stationed there, anytime they can capture the native state, because already their army is stationed there, anytime they can capture the full country, state. Now these were the basic principles or the main principles of the subsidiary alliance, and we see that the subsidiary alliance mainly had two goals, and there we see the main goal was that to establish English as the paramount power in India. So the goals of the subsidiary alliance, goals or aims we can say, the main aim or goal for starting this system of subsidiary alliance, one was that to make English the paramount power, English East India Company that is. During this time there was a rule of company. Paramount power means the supreme power. So they wanted that English East India Company should be the supreme and the topmost power, that is the most paramount power in India. This was their main aim. And another aim of this policy of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley, another aim was to exterminate the French influence from India. They wanted that France should not be there in India. The French influence should be exterminated from India. If it is exterminated from India, then British or the English East India Company can establish their monopoly trade. So this was their main motive. So second goal of subsidiary alliance was to exterminate. Exterminate means to throw off, that is to terminate. The French influence from India. Now this was another aim of the subsidiary alliance, where we see that they are aiming that the English will be the supreme power or the paramount power, and also that the French power should be exterminated or eliminated from India, so that the English East India Company can trade or can rule alone in India. They wanted to be the sole power, and they wanted that no other power should be there. Now we see that as this alliance, this system of subsidiary alliance was introduced, we can understand that it was a complete trap for the native rulers, and none of the rulers were accepting this in the beginning. So Lord Wellesley forced the Indian states to accept the subsidiary alliance. The first country or the first state, first state to accept these subsidiary alliance was the Nizam of Hyderabad. Nizam of Hyderabad was the first state to accept this subsidiary alliance, and the second state to accept the subsidiary alliance was the Nawab of Oudh. There we see that it was actually Lord Wellesley who forced the Nawab of Oudh or Awadh, presently Awadh. Nawab of Oudh or Nawab of Awadh was forced by Wellesley to accept the subsidiary alliance. So we see that these two states fell under the trap or was forced to accept this alliance, and gradually these two states were captured by the British. Now we'll recapitulate the main principles of the subsidiary alliance that we have done today. One, first and foremost, is that by this alliance, Lord Wellesley wanted to capture many states of India and to expand the British rule in India. This was the main motive. So the first principle of this policy was that the states will be given protection. Those states which will accept the subsidiary alliance, they will be given protection by the English, and no foreign power can attack them. Second principle of this subsidiary alliance was that if any state accepts the subsidiary alliance, the British army has to be maintained in that state. That is, the British or the English army would be stationed in that state. Thirdly, it was said that those states who are accepting subsidiary alliance, they will have to pay an amount of money for maintenance of the army. Now, apart from these, another important point is that of the principles, that is, it was said by Wellesley that whichever state is accepting the subsidiary alliance, these states will not maintain a relation with any foreign power without the permission of the English East India Company. So completely these states we see are coming under the control of the English rule, as we see that they are saying that these states who are accepting subsidiary alliance cannot maintain any relation or cannot wage any war with any foreign powers without the permission of the English. So this was a complete subjugation of the native states. We see it is very important to note that they said that without English permission, these states cannot establish any relation with other foreign powers, or cannot wage war or establish peace also without the permission of the English. So this is very important that we see that by this policy how completely the Indian states were subjugated, those who were accepting, and mostly we see that it was this system of subsidiary alliance was forced upon the Indian state. The first state to accept the subsidiary alliance was the Nizam of Hyderabad, and Lord Wellesley forced the Nawab of Oudh also to accept the subsidiary alliance. Thank you.